Hey, magical people. How's everybody doing out there? My name's Meg Moonbeam, and welcome back to the Daily Astro Show here on the Meg Moonbeam and Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, and we're going to talk about our astrology horoscope for today, going into tomorrow, Thursday, April 17th. And this is very interesting astrology that we've got going on. So let me know in the live chat or the comments below, if you're in our replay crew, how everybody is feeling out there. And before we get into it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Meg Moonbeam and Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. And if you'd like to have a personal astrology reading with me, those are available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. And my availability is currently starting September 2025 if you'd like to have a reading with me. And also very excited that Janine and I soon are going to be doing this Opening the Psychic Senses Level 2 of our workshop series of unlocking the secrets of your natural psychic abilities. So if you'd like to sign up, you can go to beyondmystic.academy. And we currently have 10% off with code OPEN10, all in one word. So you can go check that out. How's everybody doing? I feel like there's so much energy. There's so much going on. I posted a reel this morning talking about the fact that we've been going through Mars in Cancer since September 2024. We're about to have Mars finally move into Leo. Thank you so much, MJ, for the comment on the 17th. And almost everybody agreed and said they've been feeling that energy of this Mars in Cancer with a little bit of the moodiness, the tiredness, the irritability, especially if you are an Aries or a Scorpio. And if you haven't been feeling that, then that's great. We've all got different transits. But when I share the astrology, I'm talking more as a general for everyone. I did have somebody tell me that I was being fear-mongering by talking about Mars and how it's very moody and all that. So whatever. Haters gonna hate. And it's just, it's the general astrology and we all get affected by that differently. And it's funny how some people get so triggered by the astrology for whatever reason, but just gonna let that go. Okay. Yeah, MJ, see ya, haters. I don't get why some people like follow me, even though they don't like what I'm doing. I can't relate to that. I don't understand that at all. If I'm not resonating with something, I'm not going to follow somebody and hate on them. I don't get that. So if that's your thing, okay, do whatever you want to do. But anyways, very interesting astrology that we've got going on today, going into tomorrow. Okay, very interesting. And I'm seeing someone in the comments here just said, Leslie, RFK Jr. getting ready to make an announcement about autism on Fox News. What the heck? Leslie, okay, let me try to bring this up because that actually relates to the astrology of today and something that I was going to predict and talk about. What? RFK Jr. addresses CDC's on autism and developmental disabilities. Leslie, what the heck? Thank you so much for your comment. I did not know that this was happening today. What the heck? Let's see if we can... Okay, get a quick snapshot, and then I'll talk about why this relates to the astrology of today. And we won't listen to the whole thing because this is like a 30-minute video, but let's just listen to a couple minutes. This just streamed like 30 minutes ago. Let's see what RFK Jr. is saying here. One sec. It's wild how the astrology literally lines up with everything that's going on.
Some of the key numbers from the ADDM report. Overall, the autism is increasing in prevalence at an alarming rate. The study tests 8-year-olds who were born in 2014. And by the way, these studies are 2 years later than they should be. And one of the things that we're going to do as we remove this function.
Are you guys? One sec. Let's just let the ad pass. Okay.
The Administration for a Healthy America to the Chronic Disease Division, the new Chronic Disease Division, is we are going to have updated real-time data so that people can look at this, so Americans can understand what is happening with chronic disease in this country in real time and not have to wait 2 years to react. We don't wait 2 years to react to a measles epidemic, and we should not, or any kind of infectious disease. We shouldn't have to do that for diabetes or autism. The ASD prevalence rate in 8-year-olds is now 1 in 31. Shocking. There's an extreme risk for boys. Overall, the risk for boys of getting an autism diagnosis in this country is now 1 in 20. And as high in California, which has the best data collection. So it probably also reflects the national trend, 1 in 12.5 boys. This is part of an unrelenting upward trend. The prevalence 2 years ago was 1 in 36.
Okay, so it seems like, just pause this for a second, and we won't listen to the whole thing. We'll just listen to another minute or two after, but I'm going to have to listen to all of this afterwards. But it seems like there's already findings that he's starting to get from being the Health and Human Services Secretary about autism and developmental disabilities. And yeah, Stephanie in the comments saying this is absolutely insane. It is absolutely insane, the amount of autism and developmental disabilities. It's absolutely not normal. And it's all coming to the forefront right now, as it should be. Let's listen to one more minute, and then I'll explain with the astrology why. I was actually going to say, I swear to God, I was actually going to say, before Leslie, you put this in the comments when we started, I think there's going to be some kind of news regarding the health field, something that has to do with health or medicine. Mercury conjunct Neptune, 0 degrees Aries. Let's listen to it another minute, and then we'll get into the astrology more specifically.
The first ADDM report in 1990, which was 1992 births, autism has increased by a factor of 4.8. That's 480%, I believe. The first ADDM survey was 22 years ago, when prevalence was 1 in 150 children. In all the core states, the trend is consistently upward, and most cases now are severe. So about 25% of the kids who are diagnosed with autism are nonverbal, non-toilet trained, and have other stereotypical features, head banging, tactile and light sensitivities, stimming, toe walking, etc. One of the things that I think that we need to move away from today is this ideology that the autism diagnosis, that the autism prevalence increases, the relentless increases, are simply artifacts of better diagnoses, better recognition, or changing diagnostic criteria. If you look at table 3 of the ADDM report, it's clear that the rates are real, that they are increasing.
Just stop that for now. I'll have to take a whole listen to that later, because it's about a half hour in full. But okay, this is absolutely wild. This is why I love freaking astrology so much, because that shows up in the charts for today. I was going to talk about that with you guys. I didn't know that RFK Jr. just did that press conference. So today we've got exact Mercury in conjunction to Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. This is very, very special for a bunch of different reasons, you guys. Now, very magical astrological aspect. Of course, Neptune is the ruler of spirituality, creativity, the healing arts. With Mercury in conjunction to Neptune, it can be a very actually auspicious day for receiving spiritual messages, for creativity being heightened, for heightened sensitivity in our day-to-day. And since March 30th of 2025, we've had that Neptune now ingress into Aries. We're finally moving out of the Neptune in Pisces transit, which has been very illusory and confusing, and us not seeing the full story of what's really been going on. And now that that Neptune is in Aries, I've been talking about this with you guys for so long. If you've been listening to me for a while, we're going to start to get, what's the word, you guys? Let me know in the comments. What are we going to start to get? What's a main keyword that we are going to be starting to receiving more now that Neptune is in Aries that we did not have with Neptune in Pisces? Yes, Margie. Hi. You say yes. You said there would be some revealing. Yes. What is it that we're starting to receive now with Neptune in Aries? Yes, Jenny, Christine, you got it. Clarity. Clarity. You guys got it. Clarity as to what the F has been going on in the whole world with the whole freaking situation. And in particular, Neptune rules the health institutions and medicine and health and the healing arts. So no surprise at all that on this day that Mercury is in exact conjunction to Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, RFK Jr. is doing a press conference addressing CDC's findings on autism and developmental disabilities. And many of us know already why. Yeah, MJ says it's about fucking time. We know why, right? But this is where, and this is my personal opinion, so take it or leave it, but I could be wrong about this, I just personally feel very strongly that the forces of good are starting to become more and more powerful over the forces of dark. And that makes sense with the age of Aquarius. It makes sense with everything that we've got going on astrologically. We're coming out of literally a dark age and a time of imprisonment and enslavement. And I do think that people like RFK, not that he's a complete savior of humanity, and no, we should not look at anybody like, they're a hero or a savior, but I do think things are being done step by step to wake up the public. It has to be done step by step. It can't be done all at once. If RFK Jr. were to go out today and do a whole press conference, they already have the information. Okay, I think they already have the information. If he were to come out today and give a whole freaking 10-hour presentation of all the ways we've been poisoned our entire lives and that the you-know-whats have been causing autism and all this stuff, people would not be able to handle it. Some people would literally have mental breakdowns because we've all been going through this very intense mind control in Western society. It has to be done step by step by step so that exactly, Stephanie, baby steps, so our heads don't blow up. And saying that, I want everything to be revealed. I'm totally like, I want freaking everything to be revealed. But I do think it has to be step by step, or else it's just too much, right? So interesting, step by step. Today, we're having a little press conference. A few days ago, RFK Jr. said to the Trump cabinet, by September, we will know what's causing autism, and we will be able to take away those factors from society, which I also predicted the whole past year. Not meaning to sound egotistical, just saying the astrology is real and it all shows up in the astrology. Jenny says, I think too much information can also cause people not to hear it. Totally. And Chrissy says, people would flip out or not believe it. It's amazing to see how many people online are calling out that Katy Perry's space event was fake. Yeah, absolutely wild, right? So it's step by step by step. So what's really interesting, it's highlighting health, right? This Mercury conjunct Neptune. Neptune is the health, the healing institutions. Also can be showing the entertainment industry and some secrets being revealed about that today and going into the rest of the week. But what's also interesting with this Mercury conjunct Neptune is this is a breakthrough day for each of us personally and as a collective. 0 degrees, first degree in Aries, the first sign. And this is our first conjunction with Neptune in Aries with a planet that we've had since the 1870s, since the last time Neptune was in Aries. So yes, Neptune has entered Aries as of March 30th, but Mercury conjunct Neptune is the first, conjunctions are the strongest, I think, most important aspects, actually. And so Mercury is like activating more the Neptune in Aries. Moving forward, now that we've had our first conjunction with Neptune in Aries with a planet since the 1870s, it's activating it even more. Mercury rules information, Mercury rules clarity, Mercury rules the news, Mercury rules our day-to-day, our mind. This is a day and also going into tomorrow and also going into the whole rest of the week and just freaking moving forward of breakthroughs. And we're really starting to get more clarity about what the heck has been going on here in the collective and in our personal lives. MJ says the veil is lifting. Definitely, definitely. So see where you have 0 degrees of Aries in your personal chart, because this is a very special aspect where you can be having a breakthrough. You can be having a truth or major information being revealed, spiritual miracles as well. That's Neptune. So this is freaking powerful stuff. And tomorrow, Thursday, March 17th, we're going to have sorry, let me backtrack 1 second. While we're having that exact conjunction, Moon in Sagittarius, upliftment. Emotionally, we're wanting to expand. We're wanting the truth. We're wanting freedom. But there is a lot of sensitivity with Mars today going into tomorrow at the last critical degree of Cancer. I don't know if you guys are feeling it or not. That's why I made that reel earlier today, because it's like we're really feeling the sensitivity of the changes and what we're letting go. And I know it's so much easier to say than to actually do, but self-care is so important right now. MJ says, I feel like celebrating. There is a lot to celebrate. This is a breakthrough day. Today going into tomorrow is a huge breakthrough. And tomorrow, Thursday, April 17th, finally we have Mars ingressing into Leo. Finally, we are out of this Mars in Cancer. We won't have Mars in Cancer for another 2 years. Thank God. Mars moves into Leo. More energy, feeling less tired. That's going to help with the sensitivity as well. I'm probably going to have to do a whole separate video on Mars and Leo, actually, because there's a lot to say with that. But that Mars coming out of Cancer, Mars in Cancer is the fall position of Cancer. It's been a lot of conflict in our emotions, in our home, in our family, in homelands, and with countries. And Mars going into Leo, we're going to be energized, more creatively inspired, but it's also going to bring drama to politics, entertainment. We're going to have the P. Diddy trial starting. We're going to feel more confident. There's a lot. I'm going to have to do a whole separate video on that for sure. Also wanted to bring up, interesting, on the day that Mars is at critical degree, 29 degree Cancer, right? And Cancer rules women and the divine feminine. UK Supreme Court just ruled that law defines women as people born biologically female. This is a huge win for women, men, and sanity in the UK and the West. Now, every country needs to get on board and recognize in law what is a woman. Congratulations to UK women. So this is good news on the last day of Mars being in Cancer. Let's take a little look at this clip. I don't know if there's any audio on it or not, but amazing that I think this was in Scotland, I'm not mistaken. Is it Scotland? Let me know, someone in the comments. But this is some very good news because, yeah, you're a woman. If you've got a vagina, let's just keep it real, and you can give birth and you get your moon time every month and you bleed. And, a woman is a woman. It's not that hard, right? So let's take a little listen to this clip. And this should just be common sense. It's crazy.
We were in a really difficult place in Scotland then. We thought we were going to see rights for women rolled back. And today, the judges have said what we always believed to be the case, that women are protected by their biological sex, that sex is real, and that women can now feel safe, that services and spaces designated for women are for women, and we are enormously grateful to the Supreme Court for this ruling.
And that's another thing too, you guys. Isn't that so interesting? Mars at the end of Cancer and Mercury conjunct Neptune, clarity. Yeah, Stephanie says almost want to cry. Yeah, clarity, common sense, Neptune and Aries, right? We're moving out of this delusional world. We're moving out of that. And, this woke stuff isn't going to fly anymore, right? And we're going to start seeing more of these breakthroughs in society, which is absolutely fantastic. So very good news today. And also, again, bringing up the Neptune and Aries, if you guys saw this clip, this was from the Blue Origin space launch that supposedly happened. Was that yesterday or the day before? Yeah, Amanda says, no more delusion. Exactly. The lies aren't working anymore. The brainwashing isn't working anymore. We're out of Neptune and Pisces, right? So here's the next post. Here's definitive proof that the Blue Origin mission was faked, allegedly. So some of you guys may have seen this already. Some of you may not. They're showing, the women, they're going to be coming out of the capsule. And look, they open the door right there. One of them from the inside opens the door. And then they go up to it and say, no, don't open it, because how did you just come from space with the door sealed, yet you're able to open it from the inside? And then they laugh. And then a few minutes later, I was going to call him Jeff Beck. Jeff Bezos has a freaking hammer or whatever the hell that is, tool to open the door, and makes this whole drama show, look, of him opening the door. Yeah, gay. It's freaking hysterical. So, yes, there are still some forces trying to manipulate us, but it's not working. Neptune in Aries, conjunct Mercury, it's not working. The truth is going to be revealed. So fascinating. I love that we can look at these events, see how it relates to the astrology. I hope you guys enjoy how I do that in these daily astro shows, because it proves the astrology, and it's so interesting to see it all play out. So before I finish up, you guys want to mention as well that we've got a promo here on Beyond Mystic for the Floraline blooms and botanical soaps that we had in the tote bags at the Beyond Mystic conference. And I think they had a booth as well, if I'm not mistaken. So really amazing soaps made by Alin. You can go to floralinefarm.ca and use code BM10, all in one word, to get 10% off your next order. Beautiful, beautiful natural soaps. And today on the Beyond Mystic channel, we've got Expanding Consciousness with Jens at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Rumble and the X channels. And JC is back from his well-deserved vacation. There will be a Beyond the News with JC and Janine on the IAP at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you guys can go check that out. Thank you all so much for joining me. Enjoy the magical energies in the air of the last day of Mars in Cancer, Mercury conjunct Neptune. Tomorrow, Mars goes into Leo. Lots of stuff going on. I love you all so, so much. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on Friday for our weekend forecast for the astrology. Love you guys. Have a magical day.